I'm back. I told you there was more coming. I was not lying. I just got off a call and I'm super pumped, just riding the high from my call with Marissa. And I figured this is a good time riding that energy to hop on and just tell you guys a little bit about like what's on my mind and what's going on lately. And we had such a good talk about people's just path that they're walking and journey that they're on. And what I'm here to offer people is to help wake them up to what it is that they actually want, who they actually are, and kind of stripping away the narratives and stripping away the bullshit and just, tapping people into this higher intelligence that is all around us. The smartest thing in the room and the smartest thing in the world is nobody's brain. It's bigger than that. It's way more important than that. And when you can tap into that and make decisions from that place, everything looks different. My entire life obviously looks different than what it did when I was just becoming a new nurse back in Iowa. I was such an angry little shit. I had a big fiery mouth. I was crude and crass and very abrasive. And while that is still a thing that I experience, and that's a thing that I still have very present at all times inside of me, I have learned so much about myself when I just decided to say, you know what? Fuck it, what else is out there? What else is going on in the world that I can tap into that has me feeling full? That has me stop asking, okay, but what else? Okay, but what else? I'm not full. I don't like this. I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. By going super deep inside of myself, I did find the answers to that. I did find, what is it that lights me on fire? What is it that makes me excited? What is it that makes me feel full all the time? Marissa and I were talking about, feeling joyful and feeling, I guess like you're living in alignment. And for me, that looks a very specific way. I use yoga, I use breathwork, I use meditation, I use nature, I use time with my community. I also love teaching. I love just feeling like I have a very, very deep connection with people, with myself, with the world that I live in. And I've found the things that I used to deny about myself. I found the things that I used to hate about myself are my gifts. And I had sought out my own coaches. I sought out lots of learning for myself to try to figure out, okay, I guess I am a leader. Damn it, people are watching. Damn it, people are going to follow. And I don't want to be the leader that tells people what to think. I don't want to be the leader that's responsible for what's going on around me. I want to be the leader who has softened my edges, who has sharpened my skills and figured out how to use them to help shine a light for other people and not tell them what their path is supposed to be. That helps draw that out of them for themselves. Just because I do yoga and I do breath work and I have this platform that I'm creating on social media does not mean that that's how everyone else's is going to look. That's not how my coach's life looks. This is not how the people that I coach is, it's not how their life looks. Everyone is different. And my coaches that went before me, the people that, taught me the things that I know now, have a completely different repertoire than what I have. And my process was experiencing as many of the things as I could that felt good and taking what resonated with me and leaving the rest. It's not about judging right and wrong. It's not about, oh, well, this person did this and it's got to feel this way for me. Or this person had a great breakthrough because, like Marissa said, they broke down and cried. Maybe I should be doing that. That's not it. The biggest thing that I want to give to people is just meeting them where they're at. I want to know where you're at. I want to know what feels good to you. I want to know what doesn't feel good to you. And I want to learn what it is that makes you tick so that we can talk about what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, and start kind of unveiling why all that is just not serving and why the system sets us up to label and judge and divide. Just putting my video out here about my business, I had feedback from people that I didn't even know were watching. I had feedback from people that I felt very divided from in my recent history, just with the climate of our government, in the climate of what's going on right now. Knowing that they actually support something that goes beyond politics and goes beyond disagreement, knowing that they can see me open up and be vulnerable and have them stand there for me, even if they don't agree. It was super enlightening and really just humbling and reminded me why I'm doing what what I'm doing and what it is I do teach people. Watching The Social Dilemma, realizing how much we're being fed on purpose to experience different truth, to experience different reality, to keep us divided, to keep us fighting amongst ourselves. It really came full circle having the support that I had from the last little bit of promoting I've done and like just expressing, you know, what I'm doing in the world. It's fucking incredible to feel in the midst of all this and in the midst of all the hard feelings. Like there's still people out here who care about coming together. There are still people who care about finding the common truth, finding what we actually all feel universally, finding what we all experience universally and tapping into that. And just because the way that you get to this place and the way that you get to loving people looks different doesn't make it wrong. It just means you took a different path. And that's exactly what I'm here to do, is to light up the path. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. I don't care if you don't understand Black Lives Matter. I don't care if you don't understand some of the topics that I speak about. If you think that you're terrible at meditation, that doesn't matter to me. I'm not here to sit here and tell you you're right or wrong for it. I'm just here to help you dive in. I'm here to ask you really tough, deep questions that no one's ever asked you before. I want to know your why. How many people in your life have asked you your why? Why are you here? What are you here to do? What is important to you? What do you desire to feel on a regular basis? I don't even think my parents asked me that. It's not their fault. It's not like a bad thing. That's just never been in our awareness. We operate from this place of like achieving and doing, checking off the list, you know, X, Y, Z, and we stop tuning in. We stop getting quiet. We stop being curious. Honestly, there's nothing to be curious about when you're being spoon-fed all the answers in life, when you're being told you have to have this much in your savings, you have to buy a house, you have to buy a car, you have to be settled, and you have to be, you know, comfortable, and you have to save, and you have to do all this shit. Honestly, like, is that even true for half of us? How many of us don't have any savings? How many of us are living in debt? How many narratives are there around that? I mean, my house is my debt, my car is my debt, my credit card is or is not my debt. Either you're doing well because you decided to take out a mortgage, or you're doing terribly because you're $100,000 in the hole. Like where do you win? No one's asking you, well, does it feel good to you to own a house even though you're $100,000 in debt? Does it feel good to you knowing that you just paid cash for a car? Like what feels good? What do you need? Like what is your soul screaming for? I think it's way beyond time that we start getting back in touch with that. We start bringing more balance into our life. Yes, you have to check off things that need to get done. You have to take action. You have to really be, you know, in your masculine, thinking logically, but you also have to take a fucking minute. I had a house, I had a car, I had a partner. It felt like shit. It felt terrible. I was so trapped. I felt smothered and suffocated. And we're at this point now where we're coming to the end of 2020. I don't know how many of your New Year's resolutions from January are getting checked off. I know mine like don't even exist anymore. I'm like, what resolutions? Like what was January of 2020? What was that time? We're coming to the end of this year where I guarantee you have never had a more creative year of your life. You've been creative about how you grocery shop. You've been creative about how you interact with your family. You've been creative about how you use technology. You have been creative about how you host, how you interact with the people that make you feel good, how you fill up, what activities you participate in. All of that has demanded a level up of you. I guarantee you right now at the end of 2020, even though it feels like complete dog shit for some people, you are tougher, you are smarter, you are more compassionate, you are more creative, and you are more confronted with the things that you would have never confronted in your life had 2020 not happened the way it happened. And that is exactly why you are in this position to kind of come down for a little bit here at the end. It's holiday season. It's time for giving for people. It's time for joy. It's also time for heartbreak. It's time for grieving. It's time for loss. It's not about leaving the year and leaving it where it was and saying, fuck 2020, like we're going to start over in 2021. That just doesn't exist in life. You don't get to the next place without taking the lessons that came from the last place. For my first event coming up tomorrow, I am super pumped because I am putting out a guided meditation and breathwork, and I've had a lot of people like, what the fuck is that? Like, what do you, I can't lay still. I can't be on my back for an hour. I promise you can. I promise it's possible. And I don't want to give away too much about what meditation and breathwork look like, because part of the effectiveness of it is having a little bit of mystery and learning how to let go of your need to understand, your need to analyze, your need to rationalize, and your need to have all the answers. The perfectionist and the achiever in us is exactly what sabotages our ability to just let go and be present with ourselves and be present with what is. So for my first offering tomorrow night, I'm inviting anybody who wants to be a part of this to just chill out for 1 hour. You're going to be laying down. Your body's going to be doing the work. Your mind finally gets to take a fucking rest. We're going into a crazy season. We're going into the rest of December. We're coming out of the craziest fucking year. And this is 1 hour out of all of 2020 where you can just lay down and let me facilitate an experience for you and let your body do the work and take a load off of your mind. This is an experience where you get to just kind of get quiet. And maybe that's scary for some people. I want to work with you too. Maybe it's exciting for some people. I want to work with you. Maybe you're just tired and you want to take a freaking nap for an hour. I'm cool with that too. Like, some people do fall asleep. That's absolutely fine. But I just want you to show up wherever you are, whatever that looks like for you. I just want to see you. I want to feel into what you're feeling. I want to have the energy of all of us, even if it's over Zoom. I know the potency of this. I have experienced this, and it is everything for me to be able to finally sit in this seat and give it to you. Maybe this is the time where you're really grateful for what happened. Maybe you had a lot of awakening in yourself this year because you had a lot of time sitting in your house by yourself and you were just confronted with shit. Maybe you lost a job and it forced you to decide, who am I and what do I want? Maybe you didn't decide that. Maybe you went further into hiding. That's fine too. Maybe you lost people that were important to you. Maybe it's through death. Maybe it's through separation, loss of relationship. Maybe it's through just realizing, your friend circle or people that were important to you just aren't getting you where you're trying to go in life. And that's okay too. But we're all dealing with some shit. We all have things to look back on, to understand, to take lessons from, because that is exactly what sends us into the next year with brand new opportunities, with a whole shit ton more skills than we've ever had, with a whole shit ton more lessons than we've ever had. I really want to have you guys join me on Tuesday. I want to have you join me for the rest of the month, because December to me is about giving back to you. You guys have sat here and supported me tirelessly. You don't even understand what the fuck it is I'm doing. I'm not out here casting voodoo on people to disrupt the world. I'm out here raising my vibration, healing myself, bringing myself to my highest possible set point that I can ever get every single day so that I can teach you guys how to do the exact same shit. It doesn't have to look like what I do. You don't have to sit here and chant. You don't have to cast little spells. You don't have to use essential oils. You don't have to do yoga. I'm just asking that you open your mind to the fact that there is something higher, to the fact that this shit is not where we're meant to sit. We are not meant to just be hanging out down here. And December is about opening up my calendar to you. I have time schedules open right now. I want to bring in 5 people for recovery calls where I get into what it is that you want more freedom in, what it is you want more clarity on, what it is you want to move through, what's hurting. And I'm going to open up 5 calls. They're 1-hour sessions. They're private one-to-one breath work. This is just so that people can get a taste of what it's like to work with me. I would love to do this for people who are interested in my coaching program. This is just to give you a taste of what it means to heal yourself. I'm creating the container, I'm facilitating, but ultimately you get to do your own work. You get to drive the ship. And I, in December, have 5 spots open for this. I have events happening in my calendar. If you tap into my group called Soul Rounds, it's the group for Recovery Room. We have a calendar out there. We have a restorative yoga flow coming up. We have a little workshop about what it means to reflect at the end of the year and why this year is a fucking fantastic year to reflect, no matter how hard it is. And we have a couple of just talks about, 2020, what the fuck was that? What am I supposed to do with this? All of this is free to you. I want as many people on here as possible. If you've made it this far in my video, congratulations. But there is so much more to be talked about. And like I said, I have so much more coming. I have so much more to discuss. I have so much more to teach and offer you. And right now in the month of December, I just want to get you guys familiar with where I'm at and what I'm doing and what I offer. And I really just want you guys to feel fucking good. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel full. And I want you to ask me questions. I want you to private message me. I want you to publicly interact in my group. I want you to do whatever it takes to get your story out there and to ask the questions inside yourself that you haven't been asking for maybe your whole life. So join me for the rest of December. Thank you for all of you who are live right now and who stayed tuned. I would love to see you all. I would love to have you join my group Soul Rounds. You can see it from a link on my Recovery Room page. I also dropped a link on my personal page below. So if you're just curious about what's going on, there's no obligation. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to interact or do anything. I want you to interact, and when you're ready to use your your voice and step forward, I would love that. But right now, if you just want to sit in the observer seat, that's totally fine. Just check it out. If it's not for you, that's also totally fine. This is not for everybody. This is not for people who are not ready to move from where they're at. This is not for people who aren't ready to take action and who don't feel, called to what I'm speaking about. So that's absolutely fine too. Like I said, I'm here to meet you wherever you are. And if that means just having a glass of wine with you, or blazing it up with you for a night, or just having a conversation with you over the phone or Zoom or text messaging, that's totally fine too. But I love you all and happy December, and I cannot wait to flow with you all.